welcome to Scofield Farm. My name is Carice, and today I am going to start fall seeds, and I would love to have you join me. I have all my seed trays prepared. That took a little bit of time to put in seed starter, and I labeled everything, and I wrote down notes of how much I am starting of each type of seed, and I'm really excited. I'd love to just talk to you about how we grow fall seeds, fall type plants, cooler weather crops. It might be a little different than you do in your region. Some of you might actually be transplanting things out in the garden right now for fall. We do have some types of vegetables that we have growing right now in the garden, such as beans, that do better this time of year than in the heat of the summer. But a lot of things I'm starting will actually be a fall winter garden. So I call it like my cool weather garden or something like that. Yeah, I can't wait to share it with you. Real quick reminder, if you enjoy my videos, I'd love you to take a second to press the like button. Anytime during my video, you're welcome to comment. And I love to hear from you. I love to hear what you're planting. I love to hear ideas, questions, all the stuff. And also, if you haven't subscribed yet to our channel, we would love to have you. We post all sorts of stuff about gardening. We post about homesteading, stuff about our large family, 7 kids up in Northern California. So you are welcome to subscribe and join us. And with all that said, I'm gonna drink a coffee. We're gonna get started. All right, we're gonna start with my broccoli. I really had to think about how much and which broccoli to start because I have quite a few varieties of broccoli seeds, and I actually sell a lot of my starts locally to friends and neighbors and family who like to garden in this area but don't have either the time or the different setup to start growing seeds inside. And I also really like to grow a good amount of the brassicas. Brassicas are broccoli, kale, cauliflower, cabbage, all of that kind of family. But I narrowed it down to 4 broccolis I'm gonna grow. I'm gonna grow broccoli de chio. I am going to grow a Waltham 29 broccoli. It's pretty standard broccoli. I'm going to try for the first time this year broccoli rabe. And then I'm also going to grow solstice broccoli. I got this from Redwood Seeds, and last year was my first time growing it, and I really liked this variety. So that was a must grow for me this year. Those are the 4 I'm gonna start. Now, broccoli seeds are pretty small. I like to show you, if you're not familiar, how small they are. All the seeds in the brassica family look real similar. They all kind of look like this. They're just real small, round, a dark brown, medium brown color. I'm gonna actually put 2 seeds in each cell. As they get bigger, I will either keep the healthier seed or separate them into 2 cups, but I usually separate them into 2 cups. That's the honest truth. It's kind of like an insurance policy though. If only one germinates, I at least didn't waste that cell. And you know, space is valuable. I don't want to restart things again. I am starting these a little bit later than I usually do. Oh, these are gonna be so good. Next, I'm going to start collards and tatsoi. And the cool thing about seeds is these collard seeds are they were packed for 2016. And I grew them successfully last year from this seed pack. So it's good to know that seed packs last more than 1 year for sure. Some of them last quite a few years. So I think they should germinate fine. I didn't have any germination problem last year. So you can use them for quite a while. Some collards in. now one seed pack, this one says a minimum of 200 seeds. So you can grow some of these seeds for a really long time, and it's really money saving when you have got your collection of seeds to be only have to fill in the seeds that you've run out of or something you want to start new. It is wonderful that growing from seed can save you money because you make an investment that can pay off for several years. Okay, the last thing in this specific tray I'm going to do are snowball cauliflower and purple of Sicily cauliflower. I love growing things purple in the garden. I love growing purple. So I'm giving room to a white variety and a purple variety, and those will be very fun. Cauliflower and cabbage do not always turn out in our garden. We've got kind of erratic temperatures in the winter. We often have some warmer days that make them want to bolt early. When all the things go right, cauliflower is one that overwinters well and is usually ready for harvest late winter, sometimes early spring, and it is just so good. And it's so beautiful. It's like this bouquet, like a wedding bouquet, it looks like. It's just such a gorgeous plant. Now again, these seeds right here, I got them from a friend. They were packed for September 2016. So me sowing 2 seeds per cell helps ensure as germination rates decline as seeds age, that I will get at least something germinate in each cell. And I had a pretty good success rate with these last year as well, so I'm not super concerned about their germination. Now I have a whole video I made on why you should grow a fall garden or cool weather garden, and I'll actually put a link to that for you. I just want to say that places like ours that have pretty dry summers, a bonus of growing cool weather garden is that the rain will water our plants for us, and we can actually turn off our irrigation except for really dry weeks we might have. But that is really nice. It feels like a lot lower maintenance garden than the spring summer garden. So I really enjoy it. I think that it's totally worth it. There are certain types of veggies we can only grow in cooler weather, like lettuce and brassicas, and even peas seem to do better for us over like the early spring or very late fall when temperatures start to drop. There we go. Okay, I'm gonna show you kind of how I top this off, and I spritz it down. You don't need to bury these very far. They are such small seeds that you just want to have your seed starter be sure to be damp, and then you kind of tamp it down with a little bit more seed starter on top. Okay, I'm just gonna put a little bit of seed starter to top off each one. I'm gonna spritz it again, and then I might actually put a tiny bit of water in the bottom to bottom water and put either a plastic dome or saran wrap over the top, just to give a little humidity for germination. Spritz it a little bit more, put the dome on, and then this one's gonna go over on the shelf. Next, I'm going to start beets. I had to order new beets because I had almost completely run out of beets. This year, I am going to try all 4 of these from Redwood Seeds. The types are Lutz Green Leaf Beet, Shiraz Beet, 3 Roots Grex Beet. This is basically a blend of 3 different kinds, colors. Touchstone Beet. This is a golden one. I love golden beets. It looks like a good one. Now I actually start beets inside. I got the idea and method from Charles Dowding. I think it's called the multi-sow method. And we have a real, not really pest, but bird pressure for beets. And so if I start them outside direct sow, very few come up. Often the birds will actually eat them when they're young, but if I transplant them out, we do get a better harvest. So I'm gonna put some beets in here. I did not have a lot of beets successful last year because I did try to direct sow them. So I'm actually looking forward to beets this year since we did not get many last year at all. Redwood Seeds, the company I really like. They are local to us, to Shasta County, and a lot of their seeds grow really well in our region because a lot of them are harvested from our region. So they're, I guess you'd call they're like acclimated to our area. That is very nice. And I've had great germination rates with all of their seeds that I have grown. Actually harvested the seeds and I'm going to plant them right out for the next season. For us, dill does really well in cool weather. It bolts pretty fast in the heat. I like the flowers, I think they're pretty, but if you want to use the weed, it does better in our area with cooler temps. I usually have dill volunteers in my garden, but I do get requests for this every year for people who buy from me locally, so I always include some in my planting. Okay, next I'm going to do chamomile. Chamomile also can grow in cool weather here, and it can get actually fried eventually by our heat. So I want to have another round of chamomile going for myself, and then maybe for other people too. Their seeds are just itty bitty. It's like crazy. There's no way I'm gonna be able to do like one seed per pod. I don't even know if I can show you this. This is like, almost like you can't see it. I think I have some in each one. I can't even tell. I might have accidentally done lots in one and none in another because they're so tiny. My eyes have a hard time seeing them. Okay. Next, I am going to do nasturtium. I have an Alaska mix and a Bloody Mary, and I just ordered both of these this fall. I'm excited to see what they're like. Nasturtium can grow through the winter for us, so I would like to try and see how that does. I'm going to grow this wild rocket arugula. Arugula bolts very fast in heat for me, so I'm hoping that it does well over the winter. One of my favorite ways to have arugula is on pizza. I love it. I love it so much. These are super tiny seeds too, so there might be more than one or two in each cell. It's kind of hard to even see what I'm doing. This is a fun one. I hope it does well over the winter. And then last but not least in this tray, I'm gonna grow chives. I have saved like, I don't know, this is like tens of thousands of chive seeds, for reals. I don't need more chives. I grow chives for other people, well, but really I've had this desire to use chives under some of my fruit trees as a permaculture method of preventing pests and stuff. So I actually might, if I don't sell these, I might plant some of them under some of my fruit trees and see if they can get established over the winter. Now chives here do die back over the winter, so these would have to be planted before the frost and then have them get established enough that they would come back, because they are perennial, but they get, you know, very wintry looking over the winter. So it's not like I'm gonna eat them fresh all winter, but if I can get them going, they should do good the next spring. Plus they have the most beautiful flowers and the bees always love them, and they're one of the first things to bloom in our area, so they're an early pollen and nectar source for our honeybees. All right, these are gonna go on the shelf. Next up, we're going to do cabbage. I grow a lot of cabbage. And my successful thought of cabbage, it all depends on the weather, but I do attempt a lot of cabbage. And each year, some sort of cabbage does well for me. Last year, the Nizaki Chinese cabbage did the best for me of my cabbages. But this year, the ones I've chosen, I have probably about 10 varieties of cabbage. But I'm gonna grow the red acre, which is like a red purpley cabbage. I'm growing the Nizaki Chinese cabbage because we love Chinese chicken salads, and we actually also love kimchi. I didn't make it last year because we used it all in Chinese chicken salads for someone's birthday, but hoping to do both this year. I'm growing the Copenhagen market cabbage. This is a great one. It can get about the size of 3 pounds. It's a nice one. I'm trying for the first time Filderkraut cabbage. This one is supposed to be really good for sauerkraut, and that is one of our favorite ways to use cabbage, is sauerkraut. So it says that this could get up to possibly 10 pounds each. So you have to give it a little more spacing than the other cabbages, but I am really hoping this does well for me. Another new one for me, great in stir fries, braised, or cabbage wraps, is Winter King Savoy cabbage. Isn't that pretty? Can you see that? So I am looking forward to this one too. It's brand new to me. We will see how it goes. And as always, I'm trying to do about 2 seeds per cell to guarantee that I get what I'm wanting, and then I can always separate out any that have both of them germinate. Next, I'm gonna do strawberry blonde calendula. I actually saved the seeds from my own plants, and calendula is a wonderful herb to use. I am planning on making a skin salve with it. I've been collecting and drying some of my calendula. I want to infuse them in oil, and I really want to use my beeswax to make a really good salve for skin issues. I also use them for tea, and I also just think they're pretty. They're just pretty in the garden. Also, rainbow chard. I have chard in my garden year round. I feed chard to my chickens. Every time I'm in my garden, you will notice my chickens come and the rooster's crowing, and that's because they think that me in the garden means chard is their special treat. I also use chard in my green smoothies that I have 4 or 5 times a week. What else do we chard? We use chard sometimes in place of lettuce in warm weather since it will grow here. And we also use chard in salads. I have chopped chard up to put in different soups and stews. We have used it in place of spinach in like lasagna, because I love spinach in my lasagna. So there's a lot of ways that we use chard, and it's pretty great. So I always start a few more just in case I'm ready to take out a really old one. Okay, our fourth tray of seeds today. Japanese giant mustard, that is going to be a must. We're gonna do some bunching onions. They're called evergreen white bunching nebuca onion. So I've done these quite a few years, for a long time. And then I'm going to do some cilantro. I'm doing 2 types of celery. Celery d'Alene or d'Alene, and a Chinese pink celery. These both are, this one we did already through the spring and summer. This one's brand new to me. And I was gonna say cilantro grows for us in the cool weather, does not grow in the summer. It basically just grows to bolt and flower. And then we're doing 3 kinds of kales. This is a new one for me. It's called cyber frill kale. Super delicate and almost like arugula looking or mizuna looking. And then a red Russian, I always have red Russian, and a lacinato or dino kale. I like to call it dino kale. Same thing. Those 2 are always in my garden. I change up what the other ones are depending on the year. These are the only 3 I'm doing. I probably have 8 or 9 kinds of kale in my little box of seeds. So I'm really trying to have some self-control this year. It's not gonna look like it probably, but I really have restrained myself. Like 4 or 5 of the bunching onion seeds in each cell because they're bunching onions. They should be together, right? Cilantro seeds are so fun. Cilantro is actually, the seeds are coriander, which is a spice that is used in a lot of seasonings. And we harvest the seeds both to replant and also to make our own ground coriander. We love it. Celery seeds are so tiny. This kale looks so fun. Okay, so I ran out of the humidity dome, so I'm using just cling wrap to make like a little dome to keep the humidity for my seeds as they start. My last tray is going to be all sugar snap peas because I have decided to grow in my potato bed over the winter. I'm trying to experiment of putting a ton of sugar snap peas and letting them just kind of go wild in there. Maybe I'll put a couple tomato cages for them to vine on, maybe not. But it's a little plan we had for rotating crops in our garden, and I'm excited to see how it turns out. So I'm doing 1 sugar snap pea that are saved seeds, actually from my cousin's garden. and these were very vigorous plants. Hers were just wild and crazy and wonderful last year, so we harvested some of the seeds and they did really good in my garden this year. Gonna see how it does in the winter. 1 per cell, that's what I'm doing, just 1 per cell. This is a 60 cell tray, so that's like 60 plants. Probably will sell some, but the area of my potatoes I think is big enough that if I wanted to, I could probably plant all 60 and just have a lot of peas. Okay, look at that. That is going to be a lot of peas. Super cool. Thank you for joining me. I'm going to finish off putting seed starter mix on here, spritzing them, covering them with the cling wrap, and getting them on the shelf. I hope that I gave you some ideas of things you could grow in your cool weather garden, your fall garden, winter garden, if you're in an area like us. And is there something that I mentioned that you've never grown that you'd want to try? I'd love if you shared that with me in the comments below. Happy gardening, have a great day. Just 2 days later and we already have a few things sprouting. Super fun.